Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. My name is Charlie Perry, and we are here on Fireside. I try to come on air on a weekly basis and just talk about mental awareness, mental illness, and my partner in crime, Marvin Speller-CoachM100. Is definitely my go-to guy when it comes to talking about experiences and just mental health. He's a life coach out in Los Angeles, California. Happily married to my cousin, and I love this dude. He's definitely been ace, 5 stars. Every time I need him, he comes through. So we got together maybe last year sometime, year before that, and decided to talk about mental illness and your mental health, your personal mental health. A lot of people just need to be aware of some of the things they're going through and try to get someone to talk about it, with you and get some help. So, all right, Coach, if you want to go on a video, I see you're on. I invited you. Yeah, let's see, invite to video, and Coach will be on momentarily. So, welcome aboard. I got Anthony. I got the weight bot. I got myself. Coach M100 is on. So, hey, Coach, what's going on, man?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah.
You got it like that. You just come right on and nice and clear and looking sunny and bright, man. What's going on, man? How was your day?
Oh, I appreciate it. But hold on for 1 second.
Sure.
I have something else on the screen here.
Okay.
I don't know how to get rid of this thing. It's the camera.
The camera, yeah.
I don't know why.
It's
the purple screen. You know what? Let me see something. Hold on.
Just tap above it, maybe. Did it go away?
No, it's not going away. Huh. Oh.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I pay this guy good money to help me out on Fireside.
I'm still waiting for that check.
Yeah.
That purple camera is supposed to be there.
Oh, okay. And that's all right. I appreciate it. Is it Coach, is it on where are you seeing it on your screen? Is anything obstructed?
No, I don't even see it now.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't even see myself.
You don't? Let me
Nope.
give you another invite.
No, he's there because we see him. There's another camera just below that line. Click that again, and you'll see yourself. It's towards the right of the screen. Should be just about above the Q&A button. Now he took himself off.
He got
Just
it.
send him another invite, and
Yeah,
he'll
that's
be
what
able
I'll
to.
do. He he got it last time, and he's from Baltimore, so he should be all set, man. Tony, I missed Jill's birthday podcast. I was real upset, but I was doing my own thing, you know, and but I did wish her a happy birthday, and it was very very nice that you guys were able to do that for each other and celebrate your birthdays here on Fireside.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool. Thank you. But you weren't you interviewing George and Kim?
yeah. I had my own thing, and I was trying to, you know, I I try. We all try to support each other. So when you miss something, even though you have a legitimate reason why you missed, I'd still like to be there. But I've seen it on replay, so I got a chance to see what you guys were celebrating, and I'm
Um,
glad. I'm
can
very,
you send
very
me?
glad.
Can you send me another invite,
Yeah.
please? All right.
Okay, let's try it again. All right. Invite to video.
There we go. I think it's gonna work this time. There we go.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Perfect. All
Boom.
right. Well, coach,
So can I go sideways?
yeah, you can.
Oh, sweet.
You can. You
Okay.
can. And
How's that? Boom.
good, good.
Perfect. All right. I can go sideways.
Coach, and we
Nice.
have my friend Tony down on the screen there,
Hey,
and
Tony.
he's definitely
What's
fi-
up?
he's one of my favorite fireside creators. Him and his wife, they do a great, great job with one, two, three shows on Fireside.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very, very busy, as they say, Studio One, Two, and Three.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
So, Coach, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna really kind of get down deep, and when it comes to mental health,
Okay.
and I'm gonna talk about my own mental health, and you're
We
gonna be
can.
my sponge.
All
All
right. We
right,
can go
it's
as deep as you want to go, brother.
all right. Go
Before we
take a
do
deep.
that,
Yep.
like I always try to do, I like to give a lot of credit to my wife.
Sure.
She set me up with getting ready for the video.
Hmm.
Um, so she's always it's funny. She said this word 12 years ago. She
Yep.
said the word helpmate.
Hmm.
She's always been my helpmate. So I really appreciate that. And so very grateful for her in a lot of ways. But I think about that word helpmate. I would say everybody, and I think that's probably the theme of what we talk about today, just the whole helpmate thing, what that looks like. So I know you have a lot to talk about today, but so do I.
Hmm.
So let's get cranking, man.
All right. Well, although we met for the first time just physically
Hmm.
just a short while ago, but
Hmm.
we maintained our relationship
Yeah,
for over a year.
that's
Going on
great.
two. The As you know, my hands are very small,
Okay.
and this is part of my mental it's bothering me more so at 56 years old,
Okay.
and only because now I felt that I'm not getting the truth. Wasn't getting the truth throughout my life, truth,
Mm.
and and now that I am able to dig and search and figure out what's going on very intelligently, I just think that things wasn't right growing up, and I suffered this, and it's bothering me more and more. So when I was a kid, I fought off everything. If you talked about my hands, I was going to hit you.
Mm.
I was going to hit you many times, just so you would feel the pain that I'm feeling when you bully me, harass me, dog me out. Um, and that sometimes it really didn't matter growing up who you were, male, female. If you talked about my hands, I was going to do something to you.
Mm.
And so now it's really, especially with my grandchildren, they get very inquisitive and ask questions. Um, and it's actually stopped me from doing many things. From something I love like refereeing basketball, I usually don't do it because of you know you got to show your hands, you got to be visible, you got to um, and it's something that I truly love. But I always think that it's going to be something that someone can talk about, and it's let me see. I honestly believe some people have lied to me over the years,
Mm.
and I'm really not wanting to be bothered with any of them. And I'm blaming everybody,
Mm.
justifiable, or not. Um, just saying, no, you should know, you were my caretaker, you were my elder, you were someone that should have known, and it shouldn't take me to dig and search and find all this stuff out on my own uh, of what actually happened. And there isn't much. I don't know isn't an answer for me. So I'm just, some of the things, waking up in the middle of the night, might have a dream about it. Um, so it's definitely getting to me. Um, we have a friend here on Fireside, Gracie Yeller, that she's also a life coach. That I said I would sit down with her and talk with her, but I just never set that up. And I think at this point, in this time right now, today, when I was thinking about mental issues and health and awareness, um, I definitely got to get on top of this.
Mm.
So, and that's my story, man. I mean, I'm not violent about it anymore. I'm not hitting anybody. I'm not doing anything like that. But it's wearing on my mind, um, where it's not affecting my writing, but it's inspiring some writing. Um,
Mm.
so,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
that's me, brother.
Thank you for sharing. Um,
Yeah.
really appreciate you sharing, and one of the steps along the way is you being vulnerable and sharing the things that bother you. Um, I think about so many things go through my mind hearing that. Um, but I also think about this whole thing is that you're definitely not alone.
Hmm.
We all have things about ourselves that we wish were probably a little bit better
Yes.
at best. At worst, it can be very debilitating, you know?
Yes, I agree.
So I think it's one of these things where when I think about the journey that we have is the peace part, right? The
Hmm.
peace of what is, right? Not versus what you want it to be. Because there are some things out of control. I mean, there's everybody has something, right? When I think about, yeah, I wish I was 15, 20 pounds lighter. And maybe some people wish they were tall. They're like
Yes.
4'11", wish they were 7 feet tall, right? I also think about the journey along the way. It's a thing of acceptance, right? And it can come on your own time.
Yes.
Acceptance and really just loving who and what you are, because this is what you have. And that whole part of just the self love is, I don't want to use the word work. I would say it's a worthy journey
Hmm.
because you're all you have. You think about it at
Yes.
the end of the day, right? You ever hear that story about people been married 50, 60, 70 years and one spouse died and the other one dies um,
All the
the
time.
same day
Yeah, it's
or the next day or within a year, but it wasn't the same time. Same thing when people were born. You know what I'm saying? On one level, you're all you have.
yes.
That's from a very surface level. You understand what I'm saying? It's what you got is you. And it is that whole thing when you start to dig a little deeper, right? You're never alone. But that whole surface piece is just, it's you. It's you. You're the only thing that really matters. When you think about that, Charles, you're the only thing that matters, right?
Yeah.
Not anybody else. You're the one that matters the most. Because who you are and how you are as an individual and how you grow and develop yourself, everybody benefits from it.
True.
Or they don't when you don't go on that journey. And it's not an easy journey, you know? That self love thing is a hard, hard journey. Because we can go by that mirror and be like, oh, darn, look at that. I got this, I got that. I mean, think about it. And we got to a point this day and time, boy, we may be even the worst ever, right?
Hmm.
You go on TV, watch a movie, and I remember all you got to do is do this. Go look at the movies from the 70s, right?
Yes.
Nobody's got white teeth. You watch a movie now, everybody's got those sparkling whites, right?
Hmm.
You can't do that on your own. You got to get help, right?
Yes.
So maybe somebody was like, man, I wish I had white teeth. Boom, bingo, right? And at some point, the bodybuilders were the only ones that had the like 6 pack abs and looking real, swole, right?
Hmm.
Now look at it now, right? And I think this is the thing when you talk about mental health. I think society plays on that, where it's a constant bombardment. How you know this is you and I could be talking about something right now. You go on a social media site, it's there, it's popping up. You're like, well, where
Hmm.
did that come from, right?
Yes.
But it is playing on people constantly. And you wonder why we're in the mess we are. We think about suicides being up, right? The social media and the news is always playing on that, right? Because they perpetuate imperfections amongst us
True.
all the time. And it could be anything. It could be monetary. It could be where you went to school. It could be anything. What you eat, how you look, how tall you are, how short you are, your weight, your age. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on. Where at some point you fall into a categories of inadequacy. I'll say it again. Categories of inadequacies, right?
Yes.
We wind up falling into one of them, Charlie. So when I hear that, highly empathetic for you, but I'm also saying it's common, right? And then it's even more common. We become adults, and the things that we didn't take care of when we were younger, guess what happens? They're still there,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Because when you were younger, you were that child, right? When you got older, you still got that piece of inner child in you, right? And you become more and more disconnected from that inner child, right? That's when the problems start, because those problems are still there. When I say the inner child, let's talk about the subconscious, right? These things you never took care of
Hmm.
as a child, right? You be having this major disconnect between you and the inner you, right? And so you got these, you got these things that are keeping the inner child part of you is really lost.
Hmm.
When the inner child of you really needs that guidance from you, okay? Because you didn't deal with these things, right? And I'm saying everybody collectively, right? It's an inner child thing, Charlie. And then the flip side, as I was saying, you got this media thing, right? Where they perpetuate these inadequacies, right? And you wonder why almost every time now you turn around, there's some instances of suicide, mental health has gotten worse. This is probably what? Uh, it's probably our 10th episode, right, for this year.
True. Yeah.
Mental health.
Right.
We've unpacked everything. We looked at it from different angles, right? But then you start to look back into society, right? Well, what is it people are being fed? Think about it. I do this exercise a lot, Charlie. I do this exercise when I'm in the car. I'm in the car a lot, man. So I do this exercise, right? And I get myself ready. What I mean by getting myself ready, I'm thinking about these type of languages that what type of language am I speaking to myself?
Hmm.
And I speak to myself in this language of divine love, right? It's not attached to anything. Doesn't need to be anything. It's not I don't do these exercises because I'm looking for something. I do it because the peace and that love, right? And every time I do that, right? And I'll get out my car and go in the store and I'm like feeling this vibe, man. I'm feeling like this rush, right? And I'm feeling this and I know I probably got a smile on my face. You'd be amazed what I'm attracting from people, man.
Hmm.
Huge. And I realize is that when I'm doing that, it's like, wow, there's so much more work I need to continue to do, right? And it's whatever levels you want to call it, right? But imagine if we were spending time with that whole thing of peace and love with people, man. And not telling people to do it,
Yeah.
but you are the one that shows it,
That's what
right?
Tony talks about a lot. Love and
Yeah, but you
loving
got to
each
show
other.
it.
Yeah.
Can't get no. You can't ask it from someone else if you're not willing to give it yourself.
Yep.
One of the things I continue to work on, Charlie.
It I'm most of the time I'm trying to show that love. And however, some people may catch me where I kind of have this very serious looking face, and they just catch me, and they catch me, but I don't catch them as far
Right.
as looking at them,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I may just kind of walk away and trying to tell folks that I didn't see you. First
Hmm.
thing I try to do is be
Hmm.
polite and
Hmm.
happy and loving.
Hmm.
And if I didn't see you and you happen to see that other Charlie Perry face, that's because I'm in deep in thought most of the time. I might be thinking of something I have to do,
Hmm.
and I'm just thinking about it,
Right.
not worried about anything else. I'm
Hmm.
just doing doing my business. So,
And
but
that's okay. That's okay.
yeah,
Being where you're at when you're at that place. It's okay, right?
hmm
It's really no one size. And you know what the you know the funny thing about that, Charlie, is if people were to notice that in you, you know what that means?
yep,
That means it's something active in them,
hmm
right?
true.
You
I
attract
agree.
what you get, right? And their attractor factor is that from you. Every time I see you, man, you look like you on cloud nine, brother.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? But I also know with that, it's always an indicator of more work I have to continue to do, right?
True.
Because I got to continue to try to be my best, even though um, the problems that I have or the problems I see are a lot me. They're me, right?
hmm
How can you be separate from what you see,
hmm
right? See, this is the thing I talk about. And I think you and I were talking about this before. When you think about, and I give these people this analogy all the time, and I do it on purpose. If I step into LA and I drop a pin down, right on top of my head, right, and I go
hmm
out a 25-mile radius, it is the most per capita, the highest per capita in wealth anywhere, probably in the world, right?
True.
But you also got the highest percentage of homeless people, right?
I agree.
Probably the highest
I seen
percentage,
it. Yeah.
probably the highest percentage of just domestic violence and violence in the street. You know, almost weekly somebody's getting shot for road rage. I
hmm
saw one coming home today. I saw one. I was a mile from the house, and I was on the road, and I guess this elderly guy cut off this car full of these younger guys. Right? I heard a guy, young guy, he was like, "Oh hell no," and he
hmm
sped up. He sped off the lane, got in front of the car, and you know what he did? He stopped
Wow.
in front of the guy. And actually, I was trying to get his driver's license, but I pulled on. I pulled past it, right? And this is the stuff I'm talking about, Charlie. This whole thing. And so when you think about, you have all this wealth around, but you got the highest percentage in homeless population and violence, domestic and violence on the streets, right? You have this going on, right?
Yes.
But it's kind of one of these things where people can solve it, but as always, they're thinking to themselves, well, this stuff is happening outside of me. And I'm saying to myself, it's not happening outside of you. It's happening inside of you. This is
Mm-hmm.
why problems are not being solved, Charlie. Because when last time you heard that, or just had a billboard or something on TV, I just hope you all have the most wonderful day. And I really think we should contemplate on that.
hmm
And when last time you heard that when last time you read that on social media? When last time you heard that on TV?
It's been a while.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I mean, I hear so many positive things here on Fireside.
exactly. I'm
Um,
talking about fireside.
yeah,
I'm talking about like the standard places, right?
yeah, yeah. It's not
Right.
there.
So what I do every day, I'm like putting those intentions out every single day. You know why? Because I realize that in order to see something, that could possibly be your part of the problem.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to make sure I show up. And so if I can show up and just be that version of myself, I think a lot of things will take care of itself.
And that makes sense because how many people do you interact throughout the day?
Uh,
From one, two.
probably probably about 20. It's not
Yep.
as much as it used to be, right?
Yep. So
But I, oh,
when
go
you
ahead.
end up doing that community work, it becomes a whole lot more.
Yeah, but it's also that reflection thing was like, well, I said to myself, well, damn, what was I giving out to people
hmm
on some of them days when I wasn't even feeling or being my best? You know what I'm saying? I take accountability for that, right?
Yeah.
Man, you woke up every day, Charlie, and you were like, well, I take accountability for everything that comes into my life. Imagine that, Charlie.
Mm.
What would that be like?
It would most well with me is I'm at most of the time I'm my best motivator, um,
Bingo.
and and then some people call it stubbornness, but it's not. It's just a drive. It's something I have to do, um, and I get a lot done. And if something goes wrong, I can blame myself, just
Hmm.
like you said about accountability. Sometimes I do many things on my own. It's only because if something fails, I can blame myself. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. We had this thing, Charlie, where boy, oh boy, the whole the A word, the accountability word, right? I think accountability for ourselves and accountability for each other,
hmm
right? We talked about that before, man. I mean, honestly. And you realize when you start to peel this banana back, right? You be like, you know what? Have you noticed when there's a problem in your life, Charlie, you're always there, right?
yeah,
That's the accountability part, right? So, I mean, this is the part where you was talking about going deep with this. You can go really deep with this, right? Some of it is like it's that someone told me this before, right? When you point a finger at something, right?
hmm
Got three of them pointing back at you, man.
yeah,
Right? So that's always a challenging part because it's so different than what we were taught. We were taught that everything's outside of you, right? We weren't never taught that we're all connected. So that would mean when there's a problem out there, you it's a part of you. You if you observe it and live it, it's a part of you and a part of your own creation, man.
true.
Scientists even broke this down on certain levels. These so-called gurus. Have you ever heard of John Assaraf?
No, I haven't.
Okay, he was on The Secret. And he
Mm.
came after The Secret came out. He's one of the guest speakers. He came out with this book called The Answer. And he was one of the people that really talked a lot about neuro linguistic programming. And it's really how our mind works and how things happen, right? And there are studies that you can really get into quantum physics. You ever heard of quantum physics, Charlie?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so everything has life to it, so there's really no separation, right? And that comes up, there's a lot of accountability for your own self because you understand that facet of it, right? I remember reading something many years ago when he talked about when it comes to your family, people talk about the generational curses, right? They're looking at that from um, one thing, a spiritual level, but they'll say certain things, and then there's a piece that's missing, right? Generational curses, how did they happen? But how did things get passed down outside the like when you think about the blood is physical, right? But
hmm
there's still a spiritual aspect to all that, right? There's a tethering aspect to people, right? Family members. Like somebody said, "Oh, look at Charlie. He walked just like Uncle Joe." You know what I'm saying? Something like that, right? Where does that come
hmm
from? When you talk about, oh yeah, you you got your great grandfather's eyes. You know, you heard these stories, right? And there's something to that, right? And this is the thing I'm talking about. There's something to all these things that predate us, right? And so when you hear these certain things coming up, Charlie, a lot of times it's that, man. Your generational curses are real simple. It's something that somebody else did that you're connected to your ancestors that is passed on etherically from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. And a lot of times, if it comes up, that's just an opportunity to tap you on the shoulder where you can change that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Yeah, these things that plague your family, it could be something. Well, Charlie can break it if he stops eating like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
True.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
I got these things in my generation, my family they do, but you can break it. If it comes up, it's an indicator of you being able to change some of that. That's all it is, man.
To change it or continue it, and there's things that you know, if you're conscious about what's going on with these curses, just
Mm-hmm.
you have a head start. You already know, so you have a head start. And when something's coming your way again, because it's usually again,
Mm-hmm.
it's never that first time. The only
Right.
way you know that it's wrong is if it happened to you before, or you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it happens again. Now you correct it.
Right.
Um, the I was trying to, I'm like you. I'm always trying to do things, create things,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted some of the older folks to kind of meet, kind of like in a town hall like type atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
and just share some stories.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what it is, just
Right.
talk about it. There was when I was running for office, there was a gentleman that approached me,
Mm-hmm.
very intelligent man. But now he, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
now he's stricken. He's confined to a wheelchair.
Mm.
So he has a lot of intellect that he was trying to do. And one of the things he recommended is is these stories to pass on, to talk about some folk stories, young and old meeting, and just talking about things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was something that I said I'm going to do that because now I can't find that gentleman anymore. I don't
Oh
know where
wow.
he is. Um, I hope he didn't pass away or anything like that.
Mm.
But I can't find him. So, but mental awareness. Um, there's even though I had an okay day,
Mm-hmm.
I had a better night because I had a
Mm.
podcast, and but my day was kind of wasn't a good day. Uh,
You talking about the whole day wasn't a good day?
no,
Were there
and
segments that were better than others?
I would say it would be about a 5 hour period of the day wasn't good.
Okay.
Um, and
And what time did you wake
but
up this morning?
um, this morning I was up early. Today was a great day,
Okay.
but yesterday was a bad day. And
Okay. The whole day? Well, you said 5 hours.
yeah,
5 hours out of 24 hours is bad, you're saying.
yeah.
Okay.
Only
All right.
because usually when I get home, things are like I want them exactly. Whether
Okay.
I'm going to do a podcast, whether I'm watching something, whether I'm enjoying family, whatever it may be. So home is usually some kind of peace
Mm-hmm.
because I'm able to just, once I close that door, it's guess what? Charlie can do what he wants to do, or we can do what we want to do, whatever it may be. Um, but my two fabulous guests that I had yesterday really helped me out with the day.
It's great.
um, only for them being who they are,
Mm,
and I and I'm only getting to that piece is because I became aware of how my day was going,
mm,
and I knew I had some people in front of me that are very good, and I didn't want to bring anything on them. I didn't want to throw anything on them, sort of like I'm doing right now on this podcast with you.
hmm
I didn't want to do that, but I was into their story and into what they accomplish and what they're doing, and it was great for me.
mm.
Um, so
That's great, Charlie. Did you pick up anything that can trigger and pivot you?
um, well, I think what triggered my day was, and it shouldn't happen that way. Usually, I don't let people control
Mm-hmm.
my emotions, but it was sort of like and that person needs to be dealt with, said something to,
Mm-hmm.
they need to be corrected. But I wasn't in the position, you know. I
Right.
was representing someone else,
Got it.
work. I couldn't speak up, for everything that if I spoke up, they wasn't going to see Charlie Perry, they were going to see, my employer, that's what they were going to see. And how
Mm.
dare they talk to me like that? How dare he talk to me like that? But I didn't, and it bothered me and bothered me and bothered me because I used this phrase from my dad: "A title given is title earned."
Mm.
Well, this particular man had a title and he didn't earn it. There's no way he earned it because something is missing because you cannot behave like that amongst a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a funeral.
Mm.
There's you got to have some understanding, some empathy for the person or the people around you that you would act like that. And I just couldn't say anything. And
Mm.
they thought they were entitled to do
Right.
whatever they wish,
Mm.
including bad behavior. So
Sorry to hear that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I'd really appreciate you coming on here and talking with me. I really can't wait for our next episode when we talk about Bill Gates.
Oh man, it's gonna be a lot to unpack there. Um.
Yeah, yeah.
Oof.
I'm gonna try to do some homework, um, and I'm gonna try to find some other articles
Hmm.
um, similar
Well,
to that.
well, I can steer you in the right direction. Um. Look up Project 2030.
Okay.
So
By
it
the
talk.
way, everybody, we are talking about Bill Gates investing $7 billion for abortion. And what was the second part, Marvin?
It was population control.
Yeah. So,
You ever
eh,
heard of Georgia Guidestones?
no, I haven't.
Okay, so they tore it down last year miraculously, right? Out of nowhere, the whole thing like burnt down, and then they decided to flatten it and get rid of it, right?
Hmm.
So there are a lot of things along the way that be interesting once you do your research and we can kind of talk about it. But so and I'm not going to go too much into this, but I will tell you about the Georgia Guidestones. Really talked about what's going on and stuff like that. And so you can look at Henry Kissinger and some of the things he talked about in the 1970s, right? And they had all these committees and all this other stuff, right? And Georgia Guidestones was out there, and the Georgia Guidestones is out there to give people, I would say, guideposts and let them
Hmm.
know what's going to be happening. Right. One of the things that was in there, um, one of the things that was in there was the what the population should be. Right. And the population they was 500 million. Do
Hmm.
you know how many people are on the planet right now, Charlie?
No.
About 8 billion people.
Hmm. Well,
So it's so much there, right? You think about the eugenist, you think about Charles Darwin. It's a lot of stuff. So I would say, my friend, be ready, and it's going to tie into what Bill Gates is doing in your wonderful homeland. And
you
I
said
remember
you said that was Project what? What was it?
Project 2030.
Okay.
I remember Kristen was talking about, what he did to your, what he's doing and has been doing to your homeland as well. I'm really surprised that they put that out there,
Hmm.
that he's allocating 7 billion, and they put that in the caption, and
Yeah.
it's so over people's heads. What does it mean by population control? Do that when you hear that, what do you think about, Charlie?
Well, I was when I heard about it, there was pieces of that title that just bother me. One is it's Bill Gates,
Mhm.
supposed to be some intellectual person, which he is.
Yep.
Um,
Well,
and the go ahead. What was you gonna say?
I doubt that. I think about environment you grew up in is everything.
Yeah,
I mean, in the environment
and
he grew up in, and it's different than the environment that you and I grew up in. I mean, the area you all live in. Kristen and I talked about this many times. Think about think about the think about the you all have the per capita the most prep schools anywhere in the country. In
mhm,
Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Hampshire, the whole area,
yeah,
and they don't get the same education that you get.
no,
This is different, right? What you and I got is not education, is indoctrination. Okay,
agree.
you get indoctrinated, right? But anyway, that'll be great for what we have. But I think it kind of goes into mental health. What we're talking about today is like, do you really have your own mind? Can you think on your own? Because I got to tell you, man, once those rose-colored glasses come off, you can never put them back on again.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I always say that's not me saying. That's like, it's just what is. And when you think about mental health, you cannot be surprised there's more people who are not doing well this day and time, right? There's so many things, Charlie. When you think about, we talked about social media, the TV, what people are feeling, and those things never got addressed. So and then you took away people's freedom, right? You took away people's freedom of choice. You took away people's ability to kind of think on their own. You think about, you take away people's critical thinking because you got um, a certain way to think. If you don't think that way, you're going to be ostracized. You're going to be ridiculed, and that messes with you, man.
Mm-hmm.
You think about over dinner table. Nobody talked about politics, but I remember doing like the 2020 election. People were like, well, um, you're this and you're that. You're this and you're that. You're getting all these labels, right? How can you act somewhat from a normal perspective if you got all these things labeled on you, instead of this label just being a loving great person? No, you're either too far to the left, too far to the right. Biden lover, you're a Trump lover, you're a vaccine person, you're anti-vax, you're this, you're against the mask, you're for the mask. How can you, with a society that was already struggling, How can you have people on a mental up and up when you've got all these things happening, man? And the thing about it, it's another layer, it's another layer, it's another layer, it's another layer. And you wonder why we're a nation walk around people that are literally out of their minds.
Each layer weighs something, and all that
Weighs a
weight
lot.
bears down on. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you wake up one day and you say to yourself, well, what the hell is wrong with me? Right? And then you look around and you're like, well, golly, right? And you think about when this whole COVID lockdown, you had family members you couldn't see. I mean, Charlie, you and I could talk about all the things that's happened in the past 3 years, man. No one can be surprised,
No.
you know?
Amazing. The I mean, we talk about, you just mentioned family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's another mental piece for me is how many people am I talking to on this podcast, here and any other platform,
Mm-hmm.
and they're here frequently, constantly, daily, weekly. Michael Smear's on the bottom there. Tony's on the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
You're front and center, constantly supporting.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look around and you're wondering, oh, where's my kin? Where are they? Hey, wait a minute. You're talking. Where are you? That bears on me, my mental state.
I'm with
And
you.
and then when I kind of think about it, and you know, Tony down there, Michael, you guys are there instantly. All I'm getting at is some people just don't. Uh, well, I'm gonna stick with me. Right. We talked about accountability.
Mm-hmm.
My accountability is that I'm too sensitive, too always questioning things, always looking, oh,
Mm-hmm.
why me? Why this? Why that? So eventually, I got to stop doing it. And
Mm.
it's one thing that's fireside. Hey Heidi, I see you down there below. Michael, Tony,
Mm-hmm.
thanks for joining us. Um, the so I gotta kind of be aware, start getting sensitive, just do my thing.
Mm.
It doesn't matter who's not here. What matters is who's in front of me. And at times it
Mm.
just may be me, just may be me by myself, and I just got to deal with something. Um, so,
It's funny you say that. I think we all suffer from that.
mhm,
Um, I think about the many times where I've had that conversation with Kristen, and even to this day, we get bothered by sometimes a lack of support for our cosmetic line,
mhm,
and and then some moments I'm like, okay, well, we gotta hug and love up the customers we have, right?
yes,
So you start from there, right? So I think when you see that, I think you're on to something, right? And I think it really is probably the greater part of you realizing it's like something you got to work on, Charlie. That's
mhm,
what it is, right? And so to me, I'm starting to celebrate that when something bubbles up. So, oh man, this kind of pisses me off, right?
yeah,
It's a reminder that perhaps you got to show more love to the ones you have.
mm,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
So it's always a duality to that, right? From our conscious perspective, is
true,
that we live in duality, right? So something bubbles up could be an indicator as an opportunity where you can take your feelings and what you're feeling now and direct them in a different place, right?
exactly.
So that to me is how I've been working through that. But like everyone else, we all got things to work on, right?
Hmm.
So, so that's kind of what's it, man. And I kind of look at that. I've been doing a lot of that lately, and And it's a work in progress. And I absolutely enjoy this work I'm doing, man.
Yeah.
Because you're working on being the better part of you and realizing you get to uncover things about you that are your really true superpowers, right? And I would always invite people to be at that place, right? Discover discover the unknown about you. And there's plenty of people that come and deliver that many different ways. You ever heard of David Goggins?
Yes. Yes, I have.
You know, amazing book. And his story, man, couldn't run, became one of the most highly decorated Navy SEALs ever. And this brother, he's been just he's running ultra marathons and push himself to a higher level, right? He didn't get there overnight.
No.
And this is what I'm saying. You get to discover these things about you, right? And this journey is just beautiful, man. Because you really get to uncover your potential. And along the way, you're really tapping into certain things and you're really feeling this thing about you.
Yes.
You're like, man, this feels good. This feels great, man. And you're like, and it becomes infectious. And I will tell you, this is the thing I was talking about in the beginning. The people who are running this whole thing, the powers that be that put out this filth all the time, getting people all wound up and all that, they know your potential. Guess what? You just don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And once you go on that path of discovery, you're like, oh man, really?
Exactly. This uh, we we're gonna come to a close here. My friend, my kin, my cousin, and I can't wait. 2 weeks from now, you and I are gonna talk.
Mm-hmm. We sure are,
And
man. We're gonna
we,
dive into this thing
yeah,
head
we're gonna.
first.
So, and everyone here that um, here with us now and later on, if you're listening to the replay, that we're gonna be talking about Bill Gates
Mm-hmm.
investing $7 billion in abortion and population control, and
Right.
um, to me, it's genocide. And
Absolutely.
we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna do that in a couple of weeks here on
Mm-hmm.
Fireside. So please join us.
Um,
Please,
can I add one more thing before you go?
of course.
I think this whole thing of the separation of people, on one level, is an illusion, right? Separation. So I was
Hmm.
saying it's an illusion. We're all so connected on so many levels. And like I said, they always try and throw something at you. But our ability to be together and get past all these isms,
Yes.
our potential, we outnumber anybody that runs this planet. We outnumber. And as long as we stay divided in so many different levels, we won't get this thing right. We just won't.
Hmm.
You got people on different parts of this planet that sit back and they chant to hold this world together. And they're like, well, I need everybody to kind of do their part too. Let's show some love to each other. Let's try to help each other. You know what I'm saying? If there was no more media, social media, TV, you'd be amazed how we just naturally would just come together and get and figure this thing out. Because I worked in preschools. We can tell children to go get it figured out amongst themselves. We we have a great opportunity to do that amongst each other. There's so many things that's kind of put out there. Every time I turn on the news, it's something that's always trying to divide us. And this is where this thing, if you keep people busy with this filth, then you're going to continue to have these mental health explosions. You're going to have this
True. True.
suicide and all this other stuff happening, man.
I agree. I agree. Let me see what my boy here got. Anthony Cadova says, "Love you, Charlie. Remember that you are more than you think you are. I love you, and I love you too, man. I really do. And I love you, Marvin, for being
Love
here.
you too, brother.
Heidi, I love you. Michael, I love you. You know, Milana, Lisa, I love you. You know, it's and that's good. I'm glad, Tony. Glad you said that. You know, um, We have to. Let me see. There's a speaker here. Well, let's see. All right, I got that. Um, we we're gonna do our vibe thing. We're gonna do a good vibe. Spread the love. It's about love. That's what Tony does. You and I are gonna stay positive. We're gonna do our thing um, individually and just reflect some sunshine. When
Hmm.
we're walking. What's that song?
Oh, so many songs that um
Um, I got
yeah,
sunshine
exactly.
on a cloudy day. And that's what we got to do.
They don't make songs like that anymore.
No,
You
they
know what I'm
don't.
saying? This is why, and this is what I love so much about my wife is like the people she attracts. They make music that's about uplifting, right? And
Hmm.
this is what this
True.
thing is about. We can solve any problem out there. And Charlie, thank you. I know we gotta get going, but thank you for being vulnerable. And just remember, Charlie, you have so many it factors, man. And the beauty of discovering that and that self love,
Yes.
fall back in love with yourself again, brother. I had to do that. I remember over the summer, man, I was a hot freaking mess.
Mm-hmm.
I was letting all these things get to me and all that. I just worked it. And while it's difficult, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because the love you get ain't it's not conditional, man. It's it's that whole level of divine love, man, that you cannot put this in a box, man. And people see like, wow, Charlie looked like he looked like he floating around when he walking. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're like it's something different about you. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, for my birthday yesterday, and thank you, brother. I have never, ever, ever gotten this type of love from people. It just
Hmm.
blew me away, man. For real, blew me
Yeah.
away. And I'm
Gotta
saying to myself, wow.
gotta
You know what
have
I'm
that
saying?
great stamina to tell everyone thank you.
Oh, I will.
You
Everybody gets
know,
to
and
thank
in
you.
in
Everybody
the
gets to thank you. I don't care if it takes a week. Everybody
yeah,
gets to thank me.
yeah. So true.
And
Tony went through that. He got a lot of birthday. I did. And but that love is great, isn't it, man?
yeah, and
Makes you.
I think about what my wife wrote, and that was like so soul feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Got me right here dancing on screen right now. Got
Very
me just
nice.
moving right. She just like she like took my finger and just blew this air of love into me, man. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. And I think about I got this for so many people. I'm like, wow, this this will propel me until this time next year. You know what I'm saying?
Sure will. Yep. And it just, I don't know. It's a great thing.
Yeah, it is,
Um,
brother.
but I definitely feel you on that, and you definitely deserve
Thank you, brother.
that. The like I said, anytime we got to talk, you want to talk about something, let me know. Anything coming your way, and say, hey, CP, I can't talk to you about this, but why don't you just do something on a podcast?
Hmm.
The one thing I like about Fireside is I can just come on in anytime I want and just chop it
You,
up.
it's a curse because it's like when I was a little boy, back in the 70s, my grandmother had like A through Z, all the world big encyclopedias. I've always been a sponge. So, um, any
Hmm.
topic you want to talk about, I'm there. Anything because honestly, it's like there's so many things I've been able to kind of build upon and all that. Now, it doesn't mean I'm an expert at every subject, but
No.
I can kind of build upon just about any subject, man. But um, I think, yeah, I just think about, I think after we do these next couple, we should talk about how do you continue to alter the vibration out here that is going to get more people to be like, and I don't know if you want to give it a term or something, but I know some people who like pay it forward, going
Hmm.
to Starbucks, like, I got you, I got you, I got you, I got you.
Yeah.
That whole thing, that camaraderie. what does that look like in 2023? Camaraderie, right?
Yeah,
That'd be a great topic, man. Because I
sure.
think it's something everybody can coincide with, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We we can do that. But like I said, we can do anything you want because I'm all for it.
Okay.
I got your
Likewise.
back. You know.
Likewise, brother.
All right, man. We
Okay.
everyone, thanks for joining myself and Marvin Speller, also known as Coach M100. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you. Heidi, Michael, everyone on the screen here. I appreciate you so much.
Woohoo!
And everybody on replay, please continue to support me, follow me. And if you have a chance, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to Really Charlie. It's a Really Charlie podcast channel. Just, I need some subscribers, just trying to help out. And if you want to be a guest, let me know. My email is reallycharliepodcast@gmail.com. All right, everyone. God bless. Take care. All right, Coach. You're the
All
best,
right.
man.
Take care,
Take
brother.
care.
Take
All right.
after you, man. All right.